Hey, everybody. Welcome to This Board Game Life, episode number 94, titled Con Season. I am one of your fine hosts for today. My name is Rob. And with me, as always, somewhere over there. So to me, you are, you're over here. But I think it's elsewhere when in the final recording.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Every
but
show's
hello,
like the first
everybody.
one. Yeah. It's my good buddy Mark. The second host with the most. Yeah, this is the show about board games, card games, miniatures games. Well, we don't play a whole ton of miniatures games, but so many games and anything else we want to talk about. And we will be talking about games and conventions this week here. Anything you want to mention before we get rolling?
Just
anything?
Check us out on YouTube if you're listening to the audio version of this. We do have a video version, so you can see Rob and I on camera. And we have a lot of unboxings and playthroughs, and not a lot of reviews. Something I need to work on, but I've had so many unboxings and stuff. I've added in a new video series called Mailbag. So when I get something in the mail, I wait and open it. So then you get, it just makes a short video. You can see what's new into my library, and then you'll know what's going to be coming up as an unboxing and possible playthroughs in the future. So, but yep, lots of content out there. There's new stuff dropping every single day so far for quite a while now.
Oh, yeah. I had a interesting experience the other day. I thought I'd make mention. It was just kind of cool to some extent. So I went and I went to this restaurant and I had lunch, and there was a bunch of dudes that came in, and probably like early 20s, and they were sitting at this table, and then I kind of heard them talking a little bit, and they were talking about power-ups, they were talking about relics, and like miniatures and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, wow, that's actually kind of cool. Just to hear other people like at random, talking about games.
Yeah.
And, I was trying to figure out what they were, playing, initially I was thinking, I'm like, is it like some kind of TCG? I originally assumed Magic. And, it didn't sound like it. And then I just went back to doing my own thing. I was watching some videos while I was eating. And then they got up and they left. And then they started walking. So this is the restaurant's in an outlot of a, typical strip mall, a good sized strip mall.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were walking back in one direction. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense. There's a Warhammer store over there.
Yeah.
That, apparently they were doing their thing at. So it was kind of cool. It was just a nice experience. It's not something that has happened a whole lot, right? Because, out in the public, usually you don't hear people talking about board games too much. Or at least I haven't. So I thought I'd share that.
Yeah, unless you're with a group where you're gaming.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Or you're at a convention. Like if you're at the mall,
you might hear something there.
Yeah, if you're at the mall over at Gen Con or something like that at the food court, yeah, then you'll hear it.
Yeah,
as they're carrying 5 boxes and struggling.
Yeah,
they're so freaking heavy. Anyway, so what you been playing, man?
I've got quite a few things in the last 2 weeks. So I did play some Wreckland Run, and I did a playthrough of this fun little solo game that you're basically, you've got a car that you are outfitting with different types of weaponry and stuff like that. And then you're going through a campaign where there's different bosses and different minions, if you will. that are going to come out, and they're going to circle, their cards are going to circle yours and do damage and shoot at you and various types of damage to you on certain sides of your vehicle, and they'll rotate around your car. And it's a dice card game that I find very fun. It is a little tough. One thing I'll say about some of these solo games that I do kind of wish that the very first mission that they put you on wasn't necessarily super hard. It's like you're trying to learn the mechanics, you're trying to learn the game.
Right.
Let me have that first one as a win, right? To get me to, oh, okay, I kind of get this. That wasn't as hard. And then you get your, some of your abilities or, increase your level or whatnot, and then move on. When the very first mission is really hard to accomplish, I think it's hard for people to go back to it. Now, I don't want the whole game to be super easy, and it doesn't need to be a gimme, but some of these games in the solo hero series are like, man, I can't get past the first mission. It's like, how many times I got to do this before you feel like you get lucky. And so I put Wreckland Run back, and it's like I played it several times and I can't get past the first boss. And it's like, okay, I'm done with this for now. And I feel like they kind of miss an opportunity that maybe they make things a little too hard out the box. And if you want someone to stick around, maybe make the introductory mission or the tutorial a little bit easier to get through. But
yeah, I get that. And there's some games that are, let's just say, almost impossible.
Yeah.
for some of us, like this one here.
Oh, he's bringing up a box.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this one before. Friday by Freedom on Freeze.
Yeah.
This game, I don't know how many times I played it, and I probably win 1 out of every 25 games. But the thing is, I won 0 out of every game that I played up until the point where I actually learned the trick. So what I was basically trying to say was that it really helps. Did you catch any of that, or did you not?
Sorry,
That's okay.
I had to go shut my door. My daughter came home, was making a ton of noise. The dogs are freaking out.
Yeah.
So I heard you say Friday by Freedom and Freeze.
No, what I was saying was that I normally would now I can win 1 out of every 25 games, maybe. I'm being tough on myself with that. But originally I couldn't win a game to save my life because not that I was playing it wrong. I wasn't playing it wrong, but the strategy that I needed to win, it didn't click with me. It didn't resonate with me originally. And then I remember watching, I don't know if it was a strategy video or I read something on BGG. It was a long time ago, many years ago. But I saw this one thing and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's just a different way to play, a different way to collect cards because it's a card game. And, once I learned that, because I've seen people are like, yeah, this game's really easy. I win almost every game. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How does that happen? Because,
yeah.
I mean, most of the time I'm not a dumb guy. I'd like to think I'm kind of smart and stuff. But, that is the thing. It's like, if you don't get that strategy out of the gate, it can be a disadvantage to you. So once you figure out what you need to do, it's like once you figure out that strategy, then boom, all of a sudden you're winning. So I was just going to say that with some games that happens. And in the games that are solo, there's the games that are cooperative that you can play solo.
Yeah.
Maybe just get another smart person to play with you like me. Then you have a chance to win.
Yeah, right.
I'm
sure a lot of it too is me. The one thing I know I get dinged for this every time I do a playthrough. Someone's always pointing out how many things I got wrong.
It happens.
And it's, it's tough because I keep buying a bunch of games. I want to play all these different games, but learning all the nuances and all the different, trying to remember everything that you're supposed to do can be really tough and at times. And, so there's always that. It's like, okay, maybe I'm trying to play too much and I should just, I should narrow down my library of over 400 games to maybe something more playable and manageable.
Stop right here. That's crazy talk.
Then I can really enjoy and learn, and then probably just destroy in a game like Wreckland Run because you know it inside and out. But another game in that series that I did try that's brand new is called Wraith and the Giants. I went through that and did win my first game, and was
so you played it wrong.
Possibly could be.
I'm kidding. I'm totally joking.
This one, I really did enjoy this game on Wraith and the Giants. You are you've got one character, but at 3 different age levels. You are the young, there's an adult, and then there's the elder. So you start playing as the young Wraith who's taking on these giants, and you are kind of moving up and down on the giant and moving over into different areas to do damage to them. Okay. And there's cards and there's ways to mitigate the damage, and it was a really fun game. It's like I really liked it because it didn't feel overly complicated when you first start out, but it's going to be one of those that it's going to get and build and be harder as you go. And I feel like that's a better system. Like with Wreckland Run, the thing I believe that really kind of makes the game really hard in the start is that a lot of your enemies have shields, and some are a lot more than I have, even myself. And then you're outnumbered, and it feels like on your very first run, there should not be that many enemy cars that have the shields. It's like, because there's stuff that's going to get added into the game as you play. Why can't the shields on the enemy cars be added in later, or more of them added in later? But there's so many that there's I'm doing just enough damage that their shields negate it. So it's okay, I can't even attack you. And it just kind of makes some turns that you can't do anything. And that's kind of I feel like the game's kind of rigged from the start, from the very first mission, where I felt like Wraith and the Giants didn't kind of, to me, I feel like this one's kind of designed a little bit better to work your way into it, and it's oh, I'm successful, I'm going to move on, take on the next giant. Then you end up going through all of them, and then you move up to the adult Wraith, which changes some of your abilities, and you gain more powers, if you will. And then you're going to take on these giants again, right? You're going to fight them again, and you're going to basically go through this thing 3 times, but you're going to, each time you fight them, you be a different, an older version of yourself, more wise, but with different things happening in the game. So I think that's a better way for some of these games to approach, especially on a solo campaign-ish type of game. I also played Proving Grounds. This is another solo game. This is an arena, you're a gladiator in an arena, and you've got 6 different people attacking you. And it's a dice chucker, and man, is this thing, you have 1 minute. You have a 1 minute timer in this to roll your dice to try to get the dice you need to attack different people. Some of the people, if you don't have a dice to apply, then nothing happens. You don't attack them, they don't attack you. Some are, but others are, if you only have 1 dice, you have to have 2 of the same numbered dice to attack. And if you only have 1, then you take damage. And it's, so you have 1 minute to re-roll all your dice, but if you roll a single dice, you can't re-roll single numbers. You can only re-roll sets of dice. So, and again, you get the timer going. So it's like, okay, what do I need? And you roll a single number and you're like, and I can't re-roll it because it's just the only one I've got. I have to re-roll something else and hope to get another one of those to match it up. And then you could re-roll a set of 2s, and it's like, oh, now you've got a 1 and a 5, and it's like, great, now I've got 3 numbers that are single, and 3 people are going to attack me. It's pretty chaotic. It's a fun little game, and I just did kind of their introductory. I forgot what they called it, but it was just like I get maybe it was just a tutorial, but they have like I want to say 4 or 5 modules that you can plug in to alter the gameplay and stuff. So it's really neat. It's a little fun little solo game. That's Proving Grounds. I got to play Slide, which is a card game. This is a fun card game. I've played this several times now. I just got it in recently, and I've played it a couple times with some different groups. And this has been a fun one. I wouldn't say it's super easy. It is very easy to learn, but to master or kind of try to manipulate your cards is where the challenge comes in. So everybody ends up with 16 cards face down in front of them in a 4x4 grid. And it's like 1 to 5 players, and there's like 100 cards in the deck, but you won't have, there must be more than that. Anyways, there's going to be some cards. There's 100 cards. You're going to have 16 times 5, right? Whatever that turns out to be. But it's going to be less than 100 cards. So not all the cards are in the deck, and there's like 10 of every card numbered, 10 ones, 10 twos, 10 tens. So you don't have every card in the game. And so what happens is someone gets a first player marker, but everyone grabs a card, a face down card. You're just randomly picking one, and you all turn it up and lay it in the center of the table. And then whoever has that little first player token gets to take any one of the face up cards they want. And then you have to slide it into that 4x4 grid. You can't. So if I took a card out of the middle, I can't take the one I took. I can't go back. You can never go into the spot that you removed a card. You have to slide cards up and down in that column or left or right in that row and slide that new card in from the side, top, bottom, right? And as long as you are matching up orthogonally a number that is the same, then those cards basically zero out. So it doesn't really matter if you have 10s in your thing, as long you could have 4 10s in your little 4x4, but if the 10s are all touching each other orthogonally, then it counts as 0. There's no points against you. But then as the game goes on and you get more cards, and you always have to slide your board that can take some of your groupings and split them up. And that's where like the challenge is like, how do I pull cards out? How am I picking cards to play out that I don't know what they are, but I got to look at how everything's going to slide, and I don't even know what's going to come out. So it's a quick game, 30 minutes. It's a lot of fun, and it plays really good, and that's Slide. Another one I got to play recently is another card game that, Rob, I think you would really like, and this is called Faraway. And I don't even remember why I picked this one up. It was probably one of those had to get to $100 to get the free shipping. I'm sure it's exactly what it was, but it didn't.
Done that.
It didn't sound interesting to me. But this is a lot of fun, and it was weird. Like the very first time I played, reading the rule book, I'm like, "There's only like 3 steps," but it was like one of those. It's like you have to just play the game one time, I think, to fully understand what the rules are saying. Like it was really confusing, and then I'm like, "Okay, we're just going to play this." But what it is, it's cards. And you are going to lay out, I think it's a total of 8 cards in front of you. But you'll have some cards in your hand, and you're gonna play one out. Everyone will play one out at like the same time in front of you. And then they could have rewards. They could have prerequisites. So to get the reward, here's some resources you need, or the card could have some resources or what they call like a clue, which basically gives you a different type of card. So there's two different types of cards in the game. So everyone plays out a single card on the left side, and you're going to basically lay them out left to right in front of you. And you're laying out these cards, and there's also a daytime, nighttime symbol on them, and then there's a number. They're numbered like 1 to 68 or something like that. So if whoever has like the lowest card number gets to pick first from the middle and take another card to put in their hand. So you'll always have 3 cards in your hand. And then you kind of, so like on round 2, everybody's kind of going around putting another card in their hand. Now, in the second round and then after, if the second card you play has a number that's higher than the one you previous played, you get what's called I think it's a sanctuary card, which is something that you can play out. So in like your final turn, you are playing out a sanctuary card, and drawing from there, I think, at the final turn. But you can play one of the sanctuary cards that you might have in your hand, and you discard the rest. What that is, it's kind of like a resource or points or something that is available to you the entire time. So anyways, as you're laying these out round to round, when you get to the very last card, you lay your 8th card down. The book recommends flipping the first 7 upside down. Because now what you're going to do is you're going to score the game backwards based on the cards, on the last card you played. So if the last card you played, it will be face up. If it has a requirement of having like 2 pineapple looking icons, resources, if you don't have those in your sanctuary or on that card that you laid, which you're not going to, because a prerequisite of that is not going to be on the same card, then you won't get the scoring bonus on the bottom. But now, then you score the next card, you're working your way back. So it's like you want to have the cards that need the most resources and have those requirements. You want to get them out early, because then as you're scoring and going backwards, those things are becoming available. So you don't want some in the very end that requires like 4 resources, because all the other cards are gone unless you have those resources in your sanctuary pile. So it's really neat. There's ways to, as you're going, to try to get more sanctuary cards, which can help you with resources, but then it can hurt you depending on what cards you're playing. You might be trying to get more of those, but then you might not be playing a card that can get you some points. So it's a really interesting way that this game is played. And I really, really like this. I was shocked how much fun I thought this game was. And again, this is like a 30-minute game, maybe 45 minutes with a full player count. It plays quick. And that's another thing I like. And everybody's playing pretty much like your first step. We're all playing our first card at the same time. Then the second part goes into like who had the lowest number, and and then they're figuring out, do I get a sanctuary card? If I do, how many do I get? And then the third one is like whoever had that lowest card gets to pick from the middle cards available. They get to pull one into their hand. And then it goes, around the table until someone's left with 2 options. So it's really neat, really, really cool game. I highly recommend people checking it out. It's called Faraway. Another one is
the color is very vibrant on that. I was checking it out just now.
Yeah, it is, and it's from Pandasaurus. It's a cheap small box game. In fact, I have right in this little package that arrived today, I do have the brand new expansion for Faraway that came out. It just came out, and I ordered it like the day they released it, and it just showed up today. So you'll see that in an upcoming mailbag and an unboxing. And I did do an unboxing of Faraway, I'm pretty sure, just recently. Whether it's out yet or not is a good question. It might still be to be coming out here soon. But check out if you want to see what the cards look like, check out my unboxing of that. All right, then another one that I have been waiting for a little while. It's a game I didn't expect to get till I saw someone actually playing it. I'm like, this actually looks good. This is called Moon Colony Bloodbath, which you might know from, is it Donald Vaccarino from Dominion? Vaccarino yes. Of Dominion fame. And this is a really quirky, dark, funny game, I think. Again, you can play this relatively quickly. It's not a long game. It is a card. They call it like an engine building, engine destroying game. So at the very beginning, you're kind of building up an engine. You're trying to keep your people on the moon alive. You're building new facilities. You've got to feed them. You got to gather resources. Bloodbath. No, there's, but you wait until the robots turn and you're dealing with accidents and all these different things that happen because life on the moon is tough. It turns into a bloodbath, and before you know it, by the end of the game, you are losing your people left and right, and then you're having to destroy buildings to get the workers that work in that building back into your worker pool, and then you lose the engine building aspects or the abilities of those buildings. So it's like the game gets harder as you go, and more things just go wrong. And what's going wrong is going wrong for everybody. So everyone has this shared deck of when something bad comes up, it affects everybody. And you will play until someone has completely lost all their workers. And that's when the game ends. Once someone is basically completely lost, then the winners, whoever has the most people still alive. It's, again, it's not, you'll play this in under an hour. It plays quickly. There's not a lot of downtime. We're all kind of doing things together. It plays really quick. And I think the time, I think they say is 45 minutes. I think an hour would be maybe your first time through. But after that, it's like you could probably play this with 4 players in like 30 minutes. It really does play quickly, and it's a lot of fun. What doesn't play quickly, but is a crazy amount of fun, is Battlestar Galactica, the board game.
The OG.
I heard about this. Yeah. Well, it's not the OG. It's
not the OG Battlestar, but
it's the most recognized one, I would say. The one everybody talks about, based on the TV series that came out in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, the one with the girl in red.
Yes, and the female Starbuck. Yep. But I mean, I remember watching the miniseries, and I never watched the 4 or 5 seasons that the show had after the miniseries. Because I remember, I don't know, back when it came out, I was like, this is stupid. This is, I don't know, it just rubbed me wrong. And I think it was the Starbuck was not, like, how'd you put a female in there? He was such an iconic character back in the, was it late 70s or
was it
when that TV?
Benedict or whatever his name was.
Yeah. And
he went on to do A-Team.
Oh, yeah. So I wasn't like, I'm not necessarily a fan of the show, but I've heard such good things about this game. In fact, you made a comment that I should try to play this. And someone in my group had it. And I said, hey, would you be willing to teach us? He's like, heck yeah. And so last week we played this on our Wednesday game night. And everyone at the table was just talking about how great this show was. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? So I'm like, fine, I'll go watch it. After playing the game that night, I came home and looked it up, and it's on Amazon Prime. And I watched the miniseries, 3 hours, that night. And
the whole thing,
the whole miniseries, and then went on and watched episode 1 of season 1. And I am now working my way through this show, and I'm like, this show is great.
It is.
I am like,
good stuff.
It is a really good show. But so, and everyone was telling me, it's like,
And it's
the guy that,
it's a drama. It's
yeah,
not like a happy show.
no, there's a lot happening, and you don't know
Yeah.
who you can trust. And that's the kind of fun thing is, I was told, Frank, who has the game, he was like, when you're done watching the series, he says, we need to play it again. And he says, I think you'll appreciate it even more because everything is from the show. And I really enjoyed the game just to begin with. I'm like, this is pretty cool. Like how some people become a Cylon and some don't.
Sympathizers and all that, right?
Yep. And I ended up as a Cylon sympathizer. But we won. The Cylons did win.
Yeah.
But it was a very interesting game. I really did like this a lot. And it's kind of sad. This thing's out of print, and if you buy it today
For a long time.
It's going to cost you
a lot.
$500 to $800. $500 to $800 probably.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want it with all the expansions, you're probably looking at closer to $1,000 for the game. Yeah. So needless to say, I'm not buying it.
I was going to say, sounds like somebody looked into it.
Yeah, for just a couple of minutes. And I was like, yikes, delete. I don't want that.
And one thing too, you know, we always hope of like a retheme, right? You know, where they'll bring it out again because it's a solid game, right? But I don't know if it would be the same without the whole BSG thing. That's a very particular IP.
Yeah. And the way that the game works and the kind of, you don't know. I mean, there's a lot of those hidden trader games, but this one fits in so well because that's exactly what that show was. You know, like you didn't know who was a Cylon or who was a sympathizer or who, you know, it's just like, yeah. And some of the things in the game, the way you set up the game, I'm like, what are these two ships over here for? And he's like, you need to watch the show. It'll make sense to you. You know?
Yeah. Cause you know, going in the story of the show, right? People knew each other for years. Right. And
now don't give any spoilers away.
No, I'm not.
I am only like I think I'm in season 2 now. I think I did get through season 1. So, but yeah, great game. Yeah. Great game.
Now, I was just going to say, if I remember right, it was something like, you know, they were warring and then they signed like an armistice or something. And then the Cylons disappeared for like 40, 50 years. And then they make a reappearance. So,
and that's when the show starts, right? At that reappearance. Yeah.
Right. So then, you know, they could have been inserted into humanity for decades at that point.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm a Cylon, by the way.
Well, I'm a sympathizer according to the game. So,
okay. All
right. Next, I got 2 more games real quick. I played some more Cities. And I also played Flip 7 as well. So, but that's what I've done. I know you've got a game on your list. What did you play?
Yeah, so I played Star Explorer. This is a game that I got on Kickstarter a while ago from one of my favorite companies, Queen. And this is a little bit of a different take on some games because it is what they call a flip and write, tile flip and write, maybe. So it comes with these boards, and actually I should mention that. So the box is rather small. It's in their new, Queen has this like family, friends, and night, something like that, series of games where the boxes are smaller. You know, they're not like the old Ticket to Ride size boxes. They're smaller, more shelf friendly. Like the new
family and friends.
Yeah. Like they've got Alhambra and a couple others in this series. So it comes in that, and it comes with these boards. So the first thing you do when you get this game is you have to put it together. So it's got some game assembly therapy for good or bad, where you actually have to put together these boards that are actually 3-ply. And so there's like a bottom, this part folds over, and you get these like little sticky dudes that you put to hold it all together, and then you put a third piece on top. and you have then these circle pieces, rather large, maybe like 8-9 inches around, that have stars on them, and that is the meat of the game. You slide it into this pocket basically with a window on it, and then that is your play area, your playing board. And you get a dry erase marker, which is a little unusual because it's white ink. Because normally the dry erase,
wet erase. It's a wet erase.
Wet erase. Okay, yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So it's a wet erase white marker. So the board is black, because it's got stars on it, the sky, etc. And then it is kind of neat to just have that, with the white ink. But the interesting part to this game is that as you play the game, you flip these tiles that have constellations on them. And what you have to do is you have to put that constellation somehow into your star map by circling the stars and drawing lines in between them. Think Big Dipper, right? You got the spoon, right? And they connect all the stars together to make the spoon, or Orion, or whatever constellation. So you're kind of doing the same thing, and you're looking to select certain stars over other ones because the stars are worth different points to you. Every turn or every round, you have 2 stars that score you points. The rest don't. So for every star, let's say it's like this like yellow star that's filled in, you get 2 points, and for every star that's hollow, this is colorblind friendly. For every star that's hollow, then you get 1 point. So as you fill in your constellation, you score how many stars you use, and then the third way to score is is for every line connecting the 2 stars that you have, you score a combination of those points. So for example, if the filled in star is 2, the hollow star is 2, then for every one of those lines, it's 4 points. And there's spots where you write in your score on the board, etc. And once you fill it in, the next turn, you rotate the star chart 1/6 of a turn, whatever that winds up being. You rotate it 1/6 of a turn, and then you basically repeat the process. You do another constellation, you try to fit it in there. Now your old one has shifted off, maybe even partially out of the window, the viewing window that you have, and you have new stars that are exposed. And it's a really cool little quick playing Tetris-like game where you're trying to fit these pieces in, into your map, and you're also trying to score the most amount of points that you can. There's a couple extra ways that you can score points too. There's a line that goes across the star chart. Every time you cross that line with one of your constellation lines, that scores you points. There's a star Polaris in the middle. Whenever you incorporate one of the surrounding stars to Polaris, it scores you points. And then there's points scored for all the way in the outer edges. There's like about 12 stars on the outer edges that score you points. So it's a cool light playing game. It's just interesting and a little thinky, because eventually you get to the point of where it's like, I've got this 10-star constellation I need to fit in my map somewhere, and I can't. And if you can't draw stars, it counts against you. But a cool little fun playing game, easily accessible, open to just about everybody. You can introduce your friends. If somebody is positionally challenged, there's some people like that where they have problems with spatial stuff. It might be a little bit of a challenge to them, because when you have those little star tiles that you're trying to figure out, you can orient it any way on your map, but you can't flip it in any way. So you can't do like inverse mirror and think that it has to be exactly the same way. And sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge to try to get it to fit. But it's a lot of fun. I definitely enjoy this game. That's Star Explorer from Queen Games. And that's all that I got. So you want to do
a little
news
bit of
first?
News?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got two quick things. The first one was I thought this was going to be an April Fool's joke, and it sounds like it was something that Roxley has done in the past as an April Fool's joke, and it turns out that it's now become a real thing, and that is Slam Throne. So if you're familiar with, this is from the makers of Dice Throne, and it's like you have this stack up. Well, let me see if their rule book, they got official rules here, but you get a hero slammer is what it's called, and then you have like a stack of, I guess they're health caps that are kind of stacked up, and you're like slamming your slammer down on your enemy's stack to reduce their health or something like that. I've seen them play this like in a video. They have this, and it just seems like it seems a little ridiculous, to be honest. But they have announced that this is going to be at Gen Con this year, 2025. That's where it will first make its. Wow. I don't know if it's going to be a full. It's going to debut at Gen Con 2025 at the Dice Throne booth. It does say come by, try it out, and get your own set of Slam Thrones. So, being that it's Roxley, being that it's
oh boy,
Dice Throne guys, I'm going to be trying to pick up some Slam Throne just to have it. It doesn't look like anything I would like playing, but then again,
maybe you'll be surprised.
I might be surprised. I'm definitely going to go. And but you can check this out on their website. If you just go to dicethrone.com, you'll see the information about it, and there is a trailer, and you can sign up for updates. But yeah, it's I thought that was kind of funny.
Maybe it'll be slamming.
Yeah. And we also got the other day Days of Wonder. So on April 6th, Days of Wonder announced a brand new design for Richard Borg's Memoir 44, while also...
Wait, is that official? Is it official?
So
I know we were talking about it the other day. Okay.
Yeah, let me read the story. All right. So on April 6th, Days of Wonder did announce a brand new design for Memoir 44, while also stating that this edition will be compatible with all existing and future expansions. So they showed a picture. It looks like it's a new box cover. It's new. It's a new version of Memoir 44, but it's the same passion. So they're basically putting out kind of a new release for it. But they also mentioned that it's going to be compatible with future expansions as well as all the stuff that's already out there. And then, more generally, they wrote, the game line is still alive. And we want to thank our loyal players for their unwavering support. Stay tuned because great surprises are on the way. Then they followed up with news with 3 teaser posts. They were 3 pictures of, one looked like cardboard punch-outs. Another one looked like a board layout. And then the other one were cards, which were very obvious Rebellion and Empire cards from Star Wars. So everyone's saying they believe there's going to be a Star Wars Memoir 44, if you will, game being announced really soon. And this was not on April 1st. This didn't come out on April 1st. This was 6th, so this is not an April 1st joke. And it looks like Days of Wonder is going to be bringing us some Star Wars games in the Memoir 44 style of gameplay. Yeah.
So you can have the Empire attacking the Germans.
I don't. That'll be a good one. Can you mix the Star Wars franchise with the other games? That'll be something interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what they're saying. But I'd imagine they'd play very differently. But still, I'd imagine there'd be rule sets would be different. That you wouldn't mix those. That'd be a little weird. But imagine if you could.
AT-AT against German tank.
Yeah, Tiger tank.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll let you know when we hear more. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool.
That's a heck of a teaser, especially from those guys. I mean, I don't even know if they have any IP games. I can't think of any. But pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
definitely.
So,
all right. Yeah, so there's many ways you can contact us. You can send us an email at contact@thisboardgamelife. You can go to our website. There's contact stuff on there. Mark posts tons of videos on YouTube. Feel free to comment on there. Let him know how much you enjoy his videos. And also, we have a voicemail link on our website, all the way to the right. That's my right. On the screen there. It might be your left. I don't know. But all the way on the right-hand side, there's a little widget where you can leave us a voicemail. And we got a voicemail from Jeff that we're going to play here.
Hey, fellas. Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to tell you, I really enjoyed the show. I went from not really sure about it to listening more and listening more. And now I really like it. I think the main thing I like, it sounds to me that you guys play most of your games in person, like with other people. I've found a lot of the podcasts I've been listening to, they don't play anything with people. Everything's done on BGA, and that's kind of disappointing to me. So I like it when I hear people that play games with family and friends and use the whole board gaming thing as a way to connect with others. So I appreciate that. I've been listening more and I really enjoy it. My last question, I just wanted to find out, you guys from Chicago? It sounds a little bit like Midwest or Chicago there. I typed all this. I can't get it to work. I can't get it to send, but I hope you're well. This is Jeff Arthur. Again, love the show. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Well, Jeff, you couldn't be any further from the mark. I'm out in the Seattle area, Pacific Northwest, so sorry, no Chicago. What about you, Rob?
I am not in Chicago either.
Yeah.
I'm a little north of Chicago. Technically, most people would say yes, the Chicago area. But yeah, you nailed that. And I wonder what gave it away. Was it the couple two tree things that we say? Yeah, couple two tree things.
And I'm just joking. I did live. I mean, I lived most of my life in the Midwest, so I lived, I think, a total of about 15, 16 years in the Chicago area. So
that's how Mark and I got to know each other too.
Yep. We met in high school. And we're still friends today. So, but yes, I don't live there anymore, but I spent many years there. So
yeah, and he misses it a lot.
I miss
Portillo's.
I miss Portillo's so bad.
Portillo's, Rico Betty's, maybe the pizza.
I will be there July 29th. I'm coming back.
Yes.
So, but that was really cool to get a voicemail. Yeah. That was so awesome. Really appreciate it, Jeff. Glad that you are enjoying the show. I think that's really cool. And I don't care. Rob and I have played BGA just because we do live so far away. But I weekly game with people in person, and I know Rob does as often as he gets a chance. We like to do it in person. So,
oh, absolutely,
it's the way.
Yeah, I appreciate BGA for what it is, and also online implementations, mobile implementations of games. But it's not the same thing. And I know I've mentioned it before. Like one of my favorite deck builders is Ascension, which it was one of the first games that actually came out online. where you could play it. And while it was convenient where you didn't have to shuffle things, it's not the same experience. Like, you can finish a game in 5 minutes on an app, but you don't have that interaction with, like when Mark and I play games, or anybody, where you have that interaction, that banter, the teasing, whatever it is, right? There is none of that. And that's a big part of the hobby, just like how we have, components that we enjoy that, have great tactile feel. It's the same thing with the games and the people surrounding you. And, it would be odd to me, like, if there's shows, where all they do is play BGA, because that limits the games that you can play, right? Well, actually, no, I take that back. They've been coming out with a whole ton of games on BGA.
Yeah, I mean, and neither one of us knocks BGA.
No, it's awesome.
It is awesome because, like, Rob and I can play a game, even though we don't have the, we don't live close enough to meet up in person once a week. So I love that aspect. And if you're, wanted to get a quick solo game in of something, sometimes it might be fun to play that version quickly online. But that experience of, like, even when Rob beats me, I prefer it when we're face to face, because then he razzes me and we go back and forth, and it's just
each other and stuff. Yeah,
it's fun, and that whole interaction and just, I don't know, the tactile playing the pieces and all that is missing on the online version. So, but yeah.
Thanks for the message, Jeff. We definitely appreciate it, and hope you enjoyed us playing it on online here. Okay.
So we encourage anybody to send us messages. We'd love it, either through email or voicemail.
Yes.
So.
And it's family friendly. So
yes.
Contain yourself, please. Anyway. All right. Moving on to the big topic of the night. Con season. We are upon that time yet again.
Oh,
right. So, cons officially end, I believe. I think everybody kind of agrees that, Essen, the spiel, is kind of like the end in October. And we get like the holiday break. We get the beginning of the year. And then starting mostly like in May, which is 2 weeks from when we're recording this. That is when it starts, all, May through October. Cons big and small all over the world. I mean, you got everything. You got cons on ships. You got cons in convention centers, cons in like VFW halls, wherever people can, meeting rooms, wherever people can get them. And some of us even have them at our houses. So, right?
Yep.
Although those are limited in scale and scope. Although I should maybe come up with like a concession area next time you come over and charge you.
Yeah.
Get your bottles of water.
Let me pay to
$3.
fly out there just so you can charge me for my room and gas to take me to Portillo's.
Hey, that gives you the whole con experience.
It's true. It was missing.
Yeah. But, or at least
if we're going to do that, I'll get your bill in the mail, because it's not been too long ago.
Yeah, I know. There's an IOU.
Yes.
But anyway, so, we're coming up on con season, and I know for a lot of us, particularly like for me, and I think you also, Gen Con is the big one. That's the big con that we go to. I don't go to very many other ones, not for any reason or anything other than just I haven't. I've got Grand Con that's fairly close. It's in Grand Rapids area in Michigan. There's a whole ton of small ones up in Milwaukee and stuff. But, for Gen Con in particular, we start thinking about it like early in February, right? Because that's when the ticket sales start happening. And then they shortly after that, they open up the hotel blocks, and people are looking to book rooms and everything. So we can say, like, let's talk about the timeline. Like, what do we do to kind of like prepare? So number one, we get our tickets in February. That kind of unleashes it. And then what? February.
Well, there's your con tickets for
So
Gen
that's
Con, and
5
then
months.
your flight tickets immediately the same day.
Right.
For those of us that have to fly.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that actually drive. They like carpool. They just pile in a car. Like, they'll drive down there from like Canada, from out west, wherever. I mean,
It's a long way for me to drive.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
will say that. So,
I mean, it's a long flight. It's
not as long. I can get there.
Drive.
4 hours instead of 4 days is better. So
yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Just think, if you drove, it would be more time driving than time at the con.
Yep, because I got to come back too. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, too far to drive. It'd be nice. I could fill up my truck.
Yeah.
So
a little cheaper. But oh yeah. Yeah, you can fill up with all your goodies.
Yep. Yeah.
But so I guess tickets are probably the first thing, right? It's 'cause some of these sell out, because for the 50th anniversary that happened like 2018, 2019, they sold out early. And then last year, I want to say that they sold out of 4-day. Right? Because didn't we see the signs?
They completely sold out the entire convention last year.
But I think they had individual days still available. I thought it was just the 4-day passes sold out. I could be wrong.
I don't know. It seemed to me that I remember the signs. I thought they sold out the entire convention for the first time.
No, it wasn't the first time, because it happened at the 50th.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was Gen Con. Okay.
Yeah.
So
this is like, what, 54th or 55th last time? But anyway, so tickets or badges, whatever you want to call it, wristbands, those are the number one thing that people are really looking to get. And then we move on to travel and accommodation, because accommodations in particular, that's the tough one. That is the tough one, because it's so expensive to stay downtown. They were supposed to build a couple more hotels. I don't know if that'll improve things. Because what was it, last year or the year before, they announced that they were going to do an expansion. They were going to expand the convention hall, and they were going to also add some more hotels, like 1, 2, or 3, like a lot of room hotels. But, either you got to really pony up and pay a lot to stay local there in the downtown area, super convenient, right? Just go back and forth to your room. Or you got to do the Airbnb, the hotel thing. There's a ring around Indy that we always would stay like 15 minutes away, because, now is, you're talking about less than 200 a night versus 400 a night downtown. So that's a huge difference in cost. But so after, I guess we'll use Gen Con in particular for our examples here. So what's next? After we get accommodations, after we get travel and badges, maybe
we need the event list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's usually what, May sometime that they open that up?
The next month.
Yeah.
Then we fight to get tickets to things we can't get tickets for.
Yeah, exactly. And so the events, that's something that I always struggle with, because I know there's a couple of things that I like. There's that thing that you and I like to get. And then outside of that, I feel really overwhelmed, honestly, by the events list, because there's just so much.
Yeah, it's like
thousands.
several 100,000, I think, last year. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't it 200 and something thousand different events?
Like thousands and thousands of events. And it's like,
Yeah.
it really amazes me how people are able to like keep tabs on all that stuff. You know, maybe if you like a game, right? If there's a game that's coming out, like maybe you want to do a tournament or something.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's it. Maybe that's easier for people. Like if you're doing a tournament, you're going into it knowing, okay, I want to do a Magic the Gathering tournament or a
Right.
Pokemon tournament or something like that. So that's the stuff that you look for and you sign up for it. But when you like a little bit of everything, it's like overwhelming. Now, I know, what was it last year? You did a couple of events. How did you choose those? Like you did the SETI one, right?
Yeah, I saw that they had one. It was what did they call them? Like a demo, I guess. It's a 2 hour block of time that you can go in with the team from CGW and sit down and not really play the game. They don't really. It's weird. It's a demo. It's a kind of
guided. It's a
a guided
experience. Yeah.
Experience, yes. So it's all kind of pre-set up. They're going to have you do some things to get you started, and then they help you out like with your first couple turns, and then they're just there to kind of answer questions, try to help you along. And it was interesting because I remember coming out of there telling you, I'm not buying this game.
Yeah.
It was too heavy, and now I own it and I freaking love it. It's awesome.
Yes.
So I did enjoy that. It's a chance to sit down. It's a chance to, like in the retail hall when you're getting a demo, it's like, you know, you find an open seat and they're doing demos like every 5 minutes. So it's like
they're
real
really
quick,
short. Yeah.
very short. It's like, oh, here, this is fun. Buy it right here behind me.
What?
Uh-huh.
No, I'm making fun of like how you can't hear anything in the hall.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
They're explaining rules, and you're like, I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, because there's too much happening. So
yeah, and then I always get tired of like asking, like, could you repeat that? And then it's like, okay, all right, I have no idea what you said, but I'm just gonna go roll with it. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, I mainly I wait for, was it Eric Martin's list on BGG as well, to come out to what's going to be there. And then I kind of that's when I'm like, if there's things that I really am interested in, then I might see if there's an event for that item. And the only other thing that I really like to sign up for, which I bought tickets for all of us last year, and then we didn't use them, was the game library. I bought us all tickets so we'd have like an entire half a day.
Didn't we though?
I think something else.
And we elected go by Franco, right?
Yeah, I think we just stayed at his house and played what we bought. So I really liked the game library the first year I was there. But again, we buy so much stuff on day one that why spend the money to go to the library to play something else that we haven't yet bought? When we've got all this stuff, we might as well sit out find a table in the hall or somewhere, or go to Franco's and just play what we bought. So I don't think I'll buy those this year. But I'd like to. If we do,
I'm open to it. I'd do it. I've enjoyed it. It's nice too
because it what I like about it is it gives you a chance to, if you go to the game library, you're going to get a table because they only allow so many people in. So and it's over in the stadium. It's a little quieter. It's a little bit cooler.
It's a lot quieter.
You get a chance to kind of just wind down
the floor of the stadium.
And it's I do like that, and it's kind of a nice I got to take a break. I want to get my feet a rest, and let's just focus on playing some games. So I do like that aspect of it. And then you can do that in the middle of the day, and you get a block of time like 8 or 9 hours or something like that. So, you can come back and forth, as you want, maybe go play a game and then leave for a couple hours and then come back and play another game or something. So that's nice. And I think I wouldn't mind checking out this year, maybe the hot takes room, where they have it's another game library, but it's the hottest games that people are playing at the moment. So
it's all the ones we bought. Well,
which
the ones we
again
could get our
could
hands
be
on. Yeah.
those things that you weren't able to get, like Spectacular, which is now right here. That game I'm pointing to behind me. Rob got it at Gen Con last year. In fact, he couldn't find it. I'm like, dude, it's right there, the whole stack. What are you, blind?
This guy.
Yes, that one. And we played it, and I fell in love with it. And I'm like, after we played our second game,
$35.
It's not expensive. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get it. And of course, the retail hall closed they were closing the doors as I was headed that way.
Wah.
Turns out they'd sold out that day anyway. Yeah. So I put my pre-order in at Gen Con, and this thing showed up 2 days ago, I think it was.
So April.
Finally. So April of the next year when it finally arrived. So it is now starting to ship to the U.S.
Yeah, because it wasn't available in the U.S. outside.
Yeah, and it didn't release.
At appearance.
Yeah, at appearances. So it's a fantastic game. Yeah. I'm hoping to play it tomorrow night. Yeah. I'm taking that Moon Colony Bloodbath with me to my game night tomorrow.
Oh, very nice.
So, but yeah, and of course, looking for that list to start planning. What games do we want? Like, I already know Slam Throne is going to be one, but that's not if it's all gone, I don't really care. It's one of those things I kind of want for the gimmick of it, and because I like Roxley games.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think it's anything I'll ever play. It'll just be something I have because it seems corny. But we got to make our list of, okay, what do we want to go try to acquire this year?
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing I started doing, so that Eric's list has gotten huge lately.
Yeah.
It wasn't always this big, approaching 1,000 games. Yeah. And what I usually wind up doing is maybe like once a week, once it's released, once a week I'll go through and I'll just rank everything based on my interest level. And then other ones I just flag them like, oh yeah, this one is like 0. This one's a maybe. This one's a must-have. And that's how I kind of use to keep track of what I'm interested in the game or for the con. And I also track to see what's going to be there because he usually has, it's like this one's going to be demo only. This one's going to be, there in spirit. Yeah. This one's going to be there for sale. And
with 2 copies.
Yeah. And so you can kind of get a lay of the land of, what you want to do, what you want to grab. And just prior, I'll jump ahead a little bit, just prior to the show, the thing I started doing many years ago is I go through my list of must-haves in particular, and I write them all out on a sheet of paper that I can take with me. And don't be like me last year where I forgot my list at home.
That's why you put it on your Google Drive.
I know, right? If I was smarter, I would do it like you. Maybe we'll see if I learned my lesson for this year. And anyway, so what I do is, and this is like a pro tip. This is my pro tip for today. A pro tip on blowing your money is I get all my games that I like. I write down the publisher. I write down the game, the cost, and then where it's at in the
booth.
Yeah. So, booth, 1616. And then I organize it when I'm done. I organize it in order. This is how my craziness goes, man. I organize it in the order that I'm going to hit the booths. And I mean, you don't want to go from booth 400
to 6,000. Yeah,
exactly. You don't want to go across the hall. And then it's like, these are the games that I must have. These are the games that are going to be like really hot. So I also organize them based on like preference and distance. And then, man, Thursday morning, I am a machine. Just
no, you're not, because there's 35,000 people in front of us going through one set of doors. Because remember this last year, they sent everyone through the one set of doors and they didn't open all the other ones like they did the previous year.
Yeah, they didn't open up the one that was by the hall. Like you had to go through the hallway doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was, I thought, stupid, but I don't run the con.
Nope.
But that sucked, man. That many people. That was crazy. How many people
really
were in there?
Hot. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
it was so
like
hot. And just, it's like, get off of me. And then people are pushing through, excuse me. Then you get the people at work there, and they're like, kind of nasty. They're just like, dude, you guys know this hall's full. Don't be yelling at us to get out of your way.
Yeah.
You know, you should have had your crap moved in and set up beforehand.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't be doing it the morning of. So
yeah.
I am not looking forward to the releasing of the nerds, but
yeah.
So,
well, you could always stand back, wait for it to happen, then leisurely saunter in.
You know, that's the thing is like, it might even be best just to do that because we're not going to get, like, I think both of us, we went to our must-have. And by the time we got there on day one, we were so far back, it was like, nope, they're already sold out.
Right.
And we were there. We were not that far away from the doors opening. But by the time you get to your booth, it's just, again, the freaking running of the nerds. It's and I'm just not into that. I just like, you know what? I just kind of want to try to take it easy and I'd rather just stroll in, start at 100 this year and just kind of take my time, you know?
No,
and not be trying to run booth to booth to booth to booth because it's just like, ugh. But I know I'm going to end up with a list like you, and I'm going to be like, and that day I'll be like, come on, Rob, I got to go here first. Where are you going? You know, and you're going to be like, I thought you were going to take it casual. And I'll be like, shut up, Rob, get out of my way. Slam thrown.
You're going to be slamming me with the slam thrown thing.
There you go. Yeah. So
you always have to be right.
No,
but yeah, and you know, some of it, like I hate waiting in the lines, and I also in recent years I'll kind of gauge a game like, okay, this one's really hot. I know it's going to be super popular. I'm not waiting in the line, because if a game is available, you can get it Thursday afternoon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's no line. You could either wait in line at 10:30, 9:30, I forget when it opens. You can wait in the line at like 10, 11 o'clock, or you can just saunter up and grab it that afternoon. You run the risk of not getting it. There's always potential of getting it the day after, but you know, that's the case. And then there's other ones like last year, there was a couple that were from smaller publishers that were like all the way in the back. I just went over there and it was like a line of maybe 2 people.
Yeah.
You know, versus I know we stood in that Sky Team line for a long time. Remember? And
yeah. And here's the thing. I got the game. You got the game, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I've probably played it once.
Yeah.
In a year and a half. Why did I have to stand in line for? You know?
Yeah. This is a whole different topic I think we need to cover separately.
That's the sickness part of the hobby.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So
don't be judgy.
Yeah, tune in next week for our next episode for the what do we call it? The psychological side of conventions and the need to acquire.
If you're,
so you can play at one time.
Yeah. If you're on everybody's frequent buyer program, that's how you win. Of sorts. But no, it's you know, there. I find you could. I just saw your thing you wrote. Okay. So you just got to, gauge, right, what's important, because it sucks waiting in those lines. And I've done it before where you wait in a line for like an hour for a game that is on the store shelves that weekend. Do you know what I mean? And then you're like, why did I just do that? You know, I could have spent my time better, or I could have gotten it that afternoon after lunch. But we could say that this is part of the game. This is part of the con game, right? It's
Right.
gamified in many different ways, and it is fun. It is a lot of fun to get the hot games and to play them that day. So I get that.
It's all part of the experience too. So.
Oh heck yeah!
But I think the worst part too for me is we all there's three of us that always go, at least, you, me, and Franco, and I don't know if Jay's going to go this year, but it's what happens too is we go in and we're all going like pew, like scattering.
See ya.
We hit our few, and then it's always like, okay, where are you at? And then it's like, I'm over here. Okay, I'll meet you there. But by the time I get there or find it, you're two other rows over. It's like, Then we play the game and wasting our time of trying to find each other. And it's just like, I think this year I want to go in as like, okay, I'm just going to hang with Rob, right? I'm going to hang with Rob, and we're going to, and I know Franco
he does his own thing.
He likes to do his own thing, and that's what I've gotten from him is he just wants to go and peruse, kind of like I think he wants to just scope the aisles, do his thing.
Yeah, see what's out there.
Doesn't want to wait. And I know like when we were with Jay and his girls that one year, it's like we were barely in. We were like, I spent an hour just in the very first aisle because they were like, the girls were like playing stuff and looking at some cool stuff. And there was stuff they were very interested in, like Star Wars Rebels, I think, was in that first aisle, and stuff from OP Games was there. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I want to move on. Like,
Yeah.
I know Franco was the same way. So I'm like, I'd rather just like hang with one of you guys, and go. And not worry about having to get things. But I know it's going to happen. I'm going to get that fever and be like, I got to have this.
Yes. You get caught up in the mania.
Yeah.
It's not, I just got to have it. I got to have it today.
I get the fever.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's always like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm so hungry. My feet hurt. My neck hurts. My shoulder hurts from carrying all this stuff. Oh, we need to make a car run.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And then.
Dude, that walk to the car is so brutal, man. It's not that far, but man, I hate that walk. It's because it's like that's when you realize how tired your feet are. When you're walking the aisles, you're too distracted. You don't even notice how much your body hurts.
Too much to see.
But when you're walking to go get food, or you're walking to the stadium, or you're walking to the mall, you're walking to the car, you're just like every step is painful. That's the worst part.
That's where I when we go for food, I have my eyes on the prize. Lunch.
Lunch. Oh.
Then after we eat, then I struggle. I'm like, oh, now I'm tired from sitting here and I got a full tummy.
You know what might be fun? If people were interested, and we should throw this out, we should like try to maybe do this Board Game Life meetup at the con.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if people are like,
let's do that.
Hey, I'd like, like we just got our first voicemail from Jeff. If Jeff's obviously, it sounds like he's in Chicago since that was his question. Is Jeff going to be there? He might be there. Maybe we could meet up and say hi, just kind of.
Absolutely.
Might be fun to try to snag a table. That'd be tough. We'd have to figure out where we would meet. But yeah.
Absolutely.
I think people should write in or send us voicemails and let us know if they'd be interested in doing a TBL meetup at Gen Con this year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, let us know that and let us know if you've got any tips that we haven't like really touched upon that you've learned about going to cons that you like to do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about Gen Con. It's just cons in general.
Yeah.
We're just using Gen Con just as an easy example, but a lot of that stuff applies to anything.
Yeah.
And if you travel by plane, definitely have a lot of suitcases. Bring a suitcase in a suitcase.
That's what I did last year. Packed all my clothes in the small one and put the small one into the empty big one on the way out there. When I came back, they were both full.
Yes.
Big time full. So
yeah. So anyway, I'm excited. Definitely excited. Gen Con is 3 months away, 3.5 months. And
Yeah.
before we know it, boom, it's going to be here.
Yep.
And you get your Chicago food.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we get a lot of steps in and a lot of gaming in.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a glorious weekend.
Yes. So, all right. Should we finish it out here? So I think you gotta.
Yeah, I got a jet. I got some commitments tonight, and but big thanks to Jeff for sending a voicemail. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I really like hearing from the people, and it's really fun to get voicemails. So encourage others to do the same. It's real simple to do. But you're welcome to send us emails as well. Yeah,
it's on our website. Click the widget all the way on the right-hand side. It's got like a 90-second limit on it from the service. So if you need to talk longer, just do a second one. Or you can always do a recording either on your phone, voice app, MP3 player, whatever. You can do a recording and just email it to us at contact@thisboardgamelife. Either one works. Yep. So, all right. So I think that's about it for episode 94. What do we call this one again? Con season?
I think so.
Con season. That was like an hour ago. I already forgot what it's called. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you all again in 2 weeks. Or no, I should go 2 and 2.
2 and 2. Oh, yeah.
Like Chuck Woolery.
Boy, we're showing our age.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you at the table.